Hello, and welcome to today's training industry webinar, What are the New Necessities of eLearning? Sponsored by Litmus. I'm Amanda Longo, Creative Director at Training Industry, and I'm glad you could join us for today's event. As always, before we get started, a few tips and tricks to help you interact with our speakers during our time together. Of course, you can see all of your interactivity options at the bottom of your screen. Pop open that chat, say hello to myself, other attendees, and our speakers. If you have questions for our speakers, please submit those in the Q&A window so I can keep them organized and ready for our speakers at the end of our session. As always, we encourage you to share the information you receive with your colleagues and network via social media. Please follow at Litmus and hashtag TI webinars so we're able to track your contribution to the conversation. Now, when our program ends, of course, you'll receive a short evaluation survey, and we would greatly welcome your feedback about today's content, speaker, or topics you might want to see us cover here in the future. As always, today's event will be recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive a follow-up email from us that will include a link to the on-demand program for you to share with your team. If this is your first event with us, a very big special welcome goes out to you. At Training Industry, we offer dozens of events each year on subjects ranging from personalization and learning pathways to L&D's role in the employee experience, skills mapping. I mean, we cover just about every topic relevant to learning leaders of training organizations around the globe. If you've attended one of our programs in the past, it's great to see you back here. I hope today's program is one that you'll find to be most useful, as we will provide an in-depth look at recent changes in the corporate learning landscape and how to build the right environment to meet learners' expectations for an exceptional learning experience. Now, to get us started, I want to introduce you to today's dynamic duo. Samantha Lang is Marketing Content Director for Litmus. She has contributed to B2B software marketing teams for over 20 years, specializing in messaging, content creation, branding, and creative strategy. She entered the e-learning industry in 2015 when she joined Litmus and continues to grow her interest and knowledge in the space. Christine Bacchus is Product Technical Lead for Litmus. She has been with the company since 2015 and has had the exciting opportunity to experience the explosive growth of the training space. She has worked closely with Litmus top customers and has helped them realize the potential revenue growth for the original equipment manufacturer, OEM, customer and partner training models. I'm really excited to dive into what are the new necessities of e-learning. So Samantha, Christine, I will turn it over to you. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can see my screen. Can everyone see it? Get it some nods. Chrissy, okay, good.
Got it.
Hi. Hey, everybody. We have everybody from New York to Beirut on the call. This is amazing. So welcome everybody to what are the new necessities of e-learning. And Chrissy and I are thrilled to be with you. I'm trying to advance our slides here. As Amanda already introduced us, we can kind of go past this, but Christy and we're old school Litmus people. You know, we are Litmus aficionados and e-learning aficionados, and that's all we'll say about that. So, so today what we're going to talk about is we are going to do kind of a reality check on e-learning today, because I think there's a lot of difference between what's out in articles that you may read versus what the real stuff is. And then we are gonna get into the meat of the presentation, which are the new necessities of e-learning, and we feel strongly about this at Litmus. We're going to talk about how having this balance between creating your own content and curating off the shelf content. So we're going to talk about creating and curating, and in between there, Christy's going to do a little kind of quick demo on how we do it at Litmus. This is not a sales presentation. It's just going to be just to sort of inspire you on what you can do, and then we're going to then talk about right now what the essentials of how you have to connect not just to your learners, but how you have to connect to, in this day and age, professional services. If you're an admin, you might need some help. We're going to talk about tying training to business outcomes. We're going to talk about, and then tying your training, your LMS to your broader ecosystem. A lot of you are already probably doing that, integrating with things like CRM. And then Christy's going to give a great example from the Litmus side, which is probably our most popular integration, which is with Salesforce. So, so here's the reality check. I mean, okay. So pretty much every company is using an LMS. That's why I'm saying yes to the LMS. Some of you guys watch the show, yes to the dress. This is yes to the LMS. And there are such a small percentage of companies that are not using an LMS to manage their training. So 98% of large companies, as you can see, and then 96% of mid-sized companies. And so it's ubiquitous, without a doubt. But so the question that Christy and I want to ask on this talk today is okay, so if everyone uses one, why do almost half of companies out there want a different one? And that's what we're really going to be getting at today, which is, there's something not working. What is it? What is not working? So from the admin side, I think, and Chrissy and I, let's have a little conversation about this, but
yeah,
ubiquity is not a differentiator, meaning that, you're not going to do better than your competitors because you have an LMS, because your competitor has an LMS too, as indicated by the former stat, 98, 96%. So how do you make the most of the technology that you're using? And from what we've seen at Litmus is that most admins want something that is just not just a one-to-many basic delivery system, just sending out courses blind, doesn't matter who's receiving it. It's just you send everything out, and that's really not working that much anymore, or it's not being very successful anymore. And then the other thing is, I mean, we all know, technology should make your life and your job easier. Technology shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be awful that you have to log into this thing and you don't know how to use it. It's difficult to use, and it's just, it's just making your job harder, your life harder. I personally think that those days are on their way of being out. And Christy, remember when we were joking about when business technology was always worse than consumer technology? And I think you said
right.
Lotus Notes.
Right, and Lotus Notes, exactly. And sorry if there's any Lotus Notes users out there, but no fun, right? Especially from an administration standpoint. What a nightmare. You're kind of pigeonholed into some things. So yeah, I mean, Sam's right. And in many organizations too, you have multiple LMSs and there's no central person managing any of it. It's all over the board. You've got HR over here, you've got customers, maybe a customer LMS, maybe over here it's just the website and some videos. It's all across the board. And it's just, the market and the corporations are changing, in the way that we do business, the hybrid work model, all of that. So you're going to really want to distribute out some of that creation capabilities out to other people in the organization. So Sam, I'll hand it back over to you.
Well, and I think, Christy, it's we've gotten to the point where we want, in our B2B experiences, in our business world, our corporate world that you and I work in, and maybe a lot of people on the call work in, it's we want it to be more like this.
Yeah,
we
exactly. We want it like our social media, right?
Experience, and that's where we get to the learner side. But it's the same for the admin side too, because admins want an easy experience too. It's like, they don't want a cumbersome system to have to maintain. But I think especially from the learner side, what's on the slide here is like, make it easier than Google. It's like, if I have to go take a course, or I want to go take a course, then I should be able to just like search it, and it should be easy to go find what I'm looking for. And then as it says on the slide, it's like, when I actually do the course, it should be as fun and easy as me shopping on Amazon or finding a song on Spotify. It should be pleasant. It should be like, oh yeah, this is okay. I can totally go do my learning. Like, it's not like, oh, this awful, business experience.
Like, oh no, I've been assigned some more courses. Oh, great. Can't wait. Right. We don't want that at all. So it's completely shifting in the market to a different model. Yeah.
And I think, as we know, this is like, the technology is shifting to make it that way. So anyway, you guys can read the bullets, but this is really where we are right now. So we've come up with this idea, Litmus, which is we really feel that the essentials for e-learning right now it's our little clever little term called the 3 C's, but they're that within your LMS, you should be able to do all 3 of these things under the same roof. And so we call it create, curate, connect. And all that means, Chrissy's going to show you in reality, but all that means is that you shouldn't necessarily, in this day and age, need a third-party content authoring tool. Now, if you love one and you want one, that's great. If you want to pay the extra money and have the extra integration, then go for it. That's totally fine. But if you don't want that, you can do it right within your own LMS. So you don't need to move anything or integrate anything. You don't need to pay the extra money to have that tool. You can just do it right within your own LMS. And that is one of the key necessities, we think, right now. And then the second is, okay, if you're talking about compliance content or health and well-being or D&I, or name some of these, sales mastery, customer service, some of these things that are sort of universal, they're universally valuable. You don't need to make that yourself. You can buy it. And why wouldn't you? And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then connect is the most complex piece of the 3 C's, because connection is everything in learning. It's all about connection. So you're going to connect if you're an admin on this call, LMS admin, or someone who's running training, you want to connect your learners to everything they need. It's just, that's like step 1, and that's the most valuable thing probably. But then also, you need support. You need to be connected to professional services. I mean, what if you want to integrate and do something a little bit more sophisticated? Then you need to be able to connect to services, support, resources, best practices, whatever, that help you as an admin. You shouldn't be out on an island, by yourself. And then also, now, this is the holy grail of L&D right now. All of us know it. Connecting training to business outcomes. It's probably the hardest thing to do, but it's, all of your C-level people want to be like, okay, we're spending all this money on our learning system. How is that helping the company? And how can you track people to performance and stuff like that? And I know it's really hard, and that's the biggest challenge. And then one that is not as much of a challenge is the 4th piece of connect here, which is why not connect your LMS to other key business systems like CRM, which Christy's going to talk about here in a minute. if someone doesn't need to log into Litmus, for example, and they can just log it, they're a salesperson, they can just log into the CRM and their training's right there, and it's a a single sign-on type situation. Why not? And so that's the other piece of Connect. And so anyway, I've probably just gone on, Christy, and I got to hand it to you for, but these are what we consider our 3 C's and what really are the new necessities. And we do mean necessities. So Christy, so when we talk about create, and I'm not gonna dwell on this slide much, but we talk about create, and this is just, hey, make your own training. We know that most businesses are going to have things that are proprietary, or as some of our friends in the UK who I could see were logged on, your bespoke content, as I love the British way of saying it, that you're going to have your things that you're going to want to just make yourself. So Chrissy, I'm going to hand it over to you on that.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead and share the desktop, and let me bring up everything for you. Again, this is live TV, folks. So let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at our live TV, and little Lenny's coming across, and we're in the Litmus application. What I meant to say earlier was hello from Dallas, Texas on a cloudy day today. But let's kind of talk about some of those things. And we know the learner experience, right? So we know that, we can provide content for the learners. And as Sam said, a lot of times the administrators are forgotten. And, how do you do work? So let's take a look at how you would do work if we want to create content within your LMS. So let's go to that. So this is where we were talking about including a creation piece within an LMS, right? So we happen to have one, surprise. And you can see here that I've gone into the content authoring tool embedded in the way that you do work. So you're going to be taking your videos, your content, combining that together. Well, now you can take that and take it to the next level and marry it with content that's created in here, and also content that you may already have that you purchase from us or third parties, and marry them together. Now, this is a course for health and safety. You can see I'm in the designer area for the authored course. Now, this is a SCORM 1.2 authored product, so I can go in and start creating SCORM. But not only can I create it within the LMS, but I can also publish this out to other LMSs. So again, for large organizations, you may have another LMS. Maybe you can't get that other team on board to standardize it, but you still want to use content and be able to delegate out this content creation capabilities within your organization. So a lot of times people only think there's the LMS team. Well, what about there's customers and partners we want to delegate this out to? They want them to create their own content, or we want to have other departments create their own content. This is where it comes into play here. So you can see I've got my designer, I've got my introduction page here. So for my health and safety course, and again, we can just go in, change those images, and start adding different templates to this area here. So let's talk a little bit about that. So if I want to add templates, I can add some templates. Again, we're going to create an interactive course that can be used again by multiple people. Now, you don't need to be an instructional designer to do any of this design for a business user, but you can see I added a page. Now I can go in and edit that page, right? So we can set up a title, we can put in backgrounds if we want. Maybe I'll keep with my purple background here if you want, so you can do that. So we'll have a color here, or we can do purple. I like purple better. There we go. That's our new term for kind of a purplish color. And then I can go in and add different components on my template. So, and that's where you would go here. So now I'm creating, not really knowing anything about instructional design, and I don't. If I go in and I start adding videos or YouTube things, I can make it interactive. Tabs, button, flip cards, right? I love flip cards. Those are great. So you just really want to make something but keep it professional. You want to have a professional looking application without having to know too much. So I can add any of these components if I want. Sequencing is a good component. I click on that component, the right-hand side, I can make changes to that. So I just want to highlight that we have these different templates with the different components that you can pick. And if I go back to the all pages, I can even go in and look at more specifics. So maybe I want to match, the fruit with and get them in the right column. So the apples are fruit, vegetables are carrots. So you want to make this interactive content. You're creating it. Again, you can see some of these components on the left-hand side. And this is all within the LMS. So classically, just like Sam said, these are usually separate applications. So now we've embedded it all here with the ability, again, to customize each one of those components to meet your needs. So we can go back here, and you notice too, we can attach resources to it. We can attach resources, downloadable resources. And then what we can do here too, what I find useful and our customers find useful is the fact that you can have custom themes in here, but you can have the same theme as your LMS. So if you want to have that or switch to a different theme, you can do that. You can have a consistent look for all of your content creation throughout the solution without having to do much. You pick a theme and then you go. Let's go back to the main page here, and we're just going to go ahead and preview this live here. So again, this is a live TV here, and you have different ways of previewing it. You have a PC view, you have a tablet view, and then you also have a cell phone view of that. Remember, we switched that theme here so you can see the PC view. There we go. We've got the tablet view, and then we've got the mobile cell phone view. So again, with adding a few pages here, organizing it by chapters, looking at your menu items, we can really see what is going on here and how I can create content again in just a few minutes. So you can see that I can go down, start taking that, right? We can go on to the next, right? If we complete our training, can't do that otherwise, right? But we can look at those videos. So that is a SCORM course that, again, I can publish to Litmus, export it out, put in another LMS if you want, or export it to your website. So again, very easy to do that. All right. So the next piece of it I'm going to show you is, let me move my little bar here, is the curate section. Sam, do you want me to hand that over to you, or do you want me to go ahead and go into that?
Christy, I'm gonna do a little
Perfect. I thought you were gonna do a little introduction. Yes.
I know, I have to, right?
That's great. She's always taking the controls from me. There you go. Go ahead.
Self from doing this, but yeah. So Chrissy's going to show it, but we at Litmus are very, very proud of our content library, which has, I think right now, Chrissy, it's over 2,000 courses. I think we're over 2,000
and counting, yes,
and counting and growing all the time and always evolving, because one of the things is, those of you on the call today that use Litmus library, it automatically updates if there's a compliance course, for example, that has new regulations or what have you. It automatically updates. You don't need to worry about that. So that's basically it. And I'm not going to go into each of these things, but yes, it is much easier for our beloved customers to know that they can just buy this stuff off the shelf from us, and you can trust that it's professionally designed. Our content team is absolutely top notch. I mean, these are professional instructional designers who make the stuff. And so they are subject matter experts who make it. And it's just, it's top of the line. So with that, Christy, back to you.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. So I will share my screen next. So I'll take control over. We'll do that next. All right, so let's go in here and talk a little bit about content. So you saw Litmus has a creation tool, SCORM 1.2. That's great. Again, designed for either a person that does not know about anything about instructional design, or an instructional designer. So it goes all the way from the simple to the more complex, as you saw. That's your creation piece. Now we're on the curate piece. So with our content, or maybe you have third parties that you want to marry together with Litmus, you can do that. And you can see we've got all different kinds of catalogs. Just as Sam said, we have over 2,000 courses. You're going to have your own content that you can create with Litmus or bring it into Litmus. And then we also have this available to you. Many different types of courses, DEI. We have a lot of DEI courses too. That's a very important thing these days, and compliance, of course. And then ones that are more focused even towards customers. So maybe you want to offer them some soft skill capabilities and courses that way. So again, different catalogs, different parts of the world too that we've developed our content specifically, whether that's for EMEA, whether that's for ANZ and AU Australia, or for the US. We have country specific content. We also have some pre-translated content to you. So depending on your language, you can certainly view some of that in your native language. And as you know, Litmus, of course, global solution. We support 37 different languages out of the box in our application and all of our email notifications. So imagine that married with this content, with your content, is quite the compelling story. So Sam, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, and Christy, I like to mention to our attendees today that, can you imagine, 10 years ago, companies offering health and wellness, well-being, mindfulness as corporate training? I mean, it just wasn't even a thing. I mean, D&I wasn't a thing, and I just think and those are some of our most popular courses, and we get to track, we know what courses are being viewed the most, and those are some of the highest ones. And I just think it's, especially given that, this week is International Women's Day week, and it's International Women's Month, and, and some of the courses that are now being pretty much, I don't want to say regulated, but are assigned by companies now are some of these things that are more, DE&I related, equality, and just it's a different day and age. And I think it's a wonderful thing that these courses are being just eaten up, because we all need it. We all need mindfulness. We all need health and well-being. We need some of these things that are just, I'm just reading some of the chat right now. Yeah, I mean, it's, I just think it's wonderful that we have this library, that we get to see what people are actually consuming. And it's not just all, skill. I mean, skills-based training is still really important, obviously, but it's not all skills-based training. A lot of the soft skills and some of the other things are actually becoming even more popular.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. And neurodiversity, that's one of the courses we have, things that I never even thought about, right? Yeah. Neurodiversity. And I joke with our content manager, I'm like, say neurodiversity very fast. He had a hard time on a webinar pronouncing that, but it's things, again, you wouldn't think of that that are important.
And we didn't even talk about it 10 years ago. We didn't talk about
not at all.
Yeah, so it's incredible. And it excites me, it just excites me on a personal level that that those things are really popular. So, okay, I'm going to go back to our document. Let me go forward. Oh, we have a poll. This is great. Okay, I'm actually so curious to see this. So it was kind of hard to write this poll question because everybody's business is so unique. And so we kind of went all on the first two, or more than half and less than half. And then we'll kind of get a feeling from that. This was kind of the best way we figured out how to ask the question, but let's see. Oh, and by the way, Christy and I are not allowed to vote. It says,
I was just going to say, I tried to vote and it will not let me.
All right,
Okay.
everyone, it is your one and only chance to sound off in a poll question, an interactive poll question, but it's only interactive if you participate. So go ahead and read through the selections there. What's the mix of create versus curate at your organization? I see we've got about 60% of our audience has participated. I'm going to give you a few more moments. I know you got to read through all the selections and then contemplate and make sure you pick the right one for you. We've been open here for about a minute, so I'm going to end this poll and let's see what our results are, ladies. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Old content and more than half of the content. So there are a lot of folks that do build their own content. That's good to know.
Okay, that is interesting. So, oh, wow. I mean, so half of you are building all of your own content. What do you think about that? 'Cause, I mean, that's surprising to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but okay, I mean, reality is reality. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, maybe, oh, can we put the
Oh,
poll results back up? Oh, thank you. Um, yeah, that's really interesting.
yeah.
And maybe some of that you don't need to build yourself. We'd have
Well,
to
it's
chat.
interesting. Yeah. No, it's interesting in the chat. It was mentioned that some of the content's too expensive to buy,
Yep.
to purchase, right? That was mentioned for several people in the chat. So, that's a really good point. That's where that creation comes into play, right? You're going to create your content, and then, archive that if you want to use it later on, certainly, as you go out, within your organization and you progress to customer type training or partner type training beyond just HR. But that's very interesting poll. Thank you for that.
Yep. That, I mean, really, that is very valuable to us to see. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the connect part of the 3 C's are the most complicated, but probably the most important. So we don't need to dwell on the connect learners to what they need, because that's just, I mean, if your LMS is not doing that, then you need to call us because that's the most basic thing. But I think, the second thing that Christy and I already kind of talked about is that, admins in it, training has gotten more complicated, especially e-learning has gotten more complicated, and admins shouldn't be left out there to just try to figure everything out on their own, especially if you're not, an IT type person. You shouldn't have to figure all this stuff out on your own. And so you should be able to have access to pro services and support and resources. And we at Litmus see that as one of our top priorities. Is we have a thing, and Chrissy, I don't know if you want to say something else about it, but we have a thing called Litmus mentors, where we have people that are just here, just
Yeah.
training you,
Exactly.
teaching you on how to do your training program. I mean, Chrissy, you probably know more about it than I do.
Yeah, no, that's a great program, because a lot of times they'll be able to take on some of the tasks that maybe perhaps you would normally do, and they can call up the mentor and get that information, and it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Or it's even best beyond that, it's really best practices too. That's something that people are always hungry for, is best practice. How is company B, how's my competitor doing this? How are they how are they creating content, right? Do they have some content maybe they purchased, right? Maybe not. And then how are they connected to their other systems? What is their system of truth? Is it sales? Is it the CRM? Is it HR? Is it an ADP system? What is it exactly that there is their system of truth, and the application that they are in every day that's important to their job?
Yeah, and then the other thing, Christy, is for our customers on the meeting today, we have a thing called the Litmus Dojo, which we use the martial arts metaphor for our customer training. And it's just, I mean, a huge library resource for our customers to go and actually do training. It's self-paced training on, you know, every single feature in Litmus. So if you want to get better at it, or if you want to go try, you know, maybe you've never done gamification before, or maybe you know, you were like, okay, we're gonna start wanting to do video assessments for our sales or customer service people. Okay, I want to go take a course on how to do that. And we have that. And I think that's something, I mean, I know now it's turning into a Litmus commercial, but it really is great. Yeah. It really is great. So anyway, we're okay. And then the connect to learning to business outcomes. Again, as I said, this is the holy grail of everybody wants to talk about ROI. And so our advice, and this is a whole separate webinar that we're not going to get into today, but what we've been telling our customers is start with the outcome first and then work backward and build the training to support that outcome. And that's a little bit pie in the sky, because we can't, everybody's business is different, but as just a piece of advice, start with what you want first and then say, well, how would we have to train people to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see these headlines in the news of various things that have happened, and it always comes back to the training. It always comes back to training. That really is the center of everything.
Yeah. I mean, some recent tragedies even, I mean, you know, going into train derailments or, you know, plane situations, it always comes down to the people were not properly trained. Exactly. They didn't, yeah. And then the fourth C here is a more positive note, because this is one of our favorite things to talk about, is just like integrate your LMS with your other systems and make it so that, as I said earlier, like if you're a salesperson, you don't want to have to log into 2 different systems to have your training applied to you. Why? When it can be in the CRM, what Christy's going to talk about. Why, if you're a customer service person, should you have to log into 2 different systems to have your directions given to you in training? You shouldn't. So, okay, Christy, this is you. Let's I love this. Okay, well, okay, before we go into specifics, this is just us tooting our own horn, toot, that we have so many integrations that are out of the box that make it really easy for people to, you know, tie their, if you want to do, you know, live instructor led training, you can tie into Zoom and Citrix and all the, or, you know, Citrix, all the other, you know, web conferencing and Teams, and, you know, there's just a ton of options, and e-commerce and DocuSign, and again, that's a whole separate webinar, but our probably best known integration is with Salesforce for obvious reasons, as we've been saying, where it just makes it, so many organizations are like, our salespeople do better when they know more, when they're more educated. And there are so many fast changes to products and services, and how do you keep everybody up to speed on what they're selling? So with that, Christy.
Absolutely. Let's switch over to that. I'll share my screen again. All right, let's bring up this. So the important thing is, again, just as Sam said, you don't have to switch a bunch of different, you know, into a bunch of different applications. You just want it in your flow of work. You just want it available here, whether you're a salesperson like Sean here, or you're Sally in service, or you're Caesar in the customer portal, the digital experience cloud in Salesforce, or your partner, right? You just want to be able to access that training easily, again, and not have to worry about different things. And managers can take that training information and apply it to things that are important to them. What's one of the most important things in sales, right? We want to get large opportunities and we want to close those opportunities. So what if you look at comparing the top sales reps? Have they taken the most training? Has that correlated again with the largest ACV values, the largest opportunity values collectively? How much training are they taking? What is the training? And maybe the sales managers might want to assign training directly through a Salesforce or CRM application. Certainly you can do that with an LMS, and LMS being Litmus in this case. So let's say I go over to my training area. So I have my daily, I want to see what my pipeline's looking at because the boss is calling me every 5 minutes, wants to know, and I need to take some training, and they've actually assigned that training through Salesforce, and now it's available here. And it's not only your sales teams, but it's other user populations that want to go in. You know, Fred over here, he doesn't go into Salesforce, he goes into ADP, and he wants to take his training out of ADP because he works in HR and he wants to take it from there. Or we have a partner who's not using the digital experience cloud, but they want to go directly to Litmus. They can certainly do that. And see, now I can take my training. It's going to help me in closing the sales. It's going to help me in presenting my products or services that I'm selling. And again, it's all through a CRM. It's all through one location. So what we encourage customers to do, figure out for each user population that you have, whether it's internal, external, what's their main system? What's the system that they go into every day? Determine what that is. And then we're going to put the LMS component in that system. So again, they don't have to go out, I got to go take this training and that training and this and get in this other system. Put it all, decide what that main system is, and then go from there. Okay. Sam.
Okay, let me come back to this. And I'm just reading some of the questions.
Oh,
right
yes,
now
yes,
in
yes.
the chat. So I think that's what we're going to go to now, because we are seeing some questions. I just somehow shut the, one second. Okay, so some of these, Chris, I think I don't know the answers to this. I think you might.
Yeah, go ahead.
So our insurance website has a lot of training courses for us to utilize, but are other trainings available in Litmus for us to use already, or do we need to purchase more access?
Well, there certainly is. You know, obviously we do sell content, right? We do have that. We do have packaged content that we sell. I showed some of those libraries there. That is an option for you. There is the option now to create that content, right? You can create it yourself too. You can combine and create things through the content builder additionally, right? And then you can include content from third parties too within Litmus. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question completely, but the takeaway is you have options for you, and we don't limit you there.
Yeah, and let me just say to the person who wrote that, to Nicole, if we didn't answer your question, could you follow up in another chat if we didn't answer it? Because I wasn't sure I understood the question either. So follow up if that wasn't the right answer for you. And then Amy's asking, do we integrate with Microsoft Dynamics? Amy, can you clarify, do you mean the content? Because
for the application, yeah.
So Amy, maybe you can clarify your question on that. But I don't know if you mean here we go. I think we're Christy, can you answer that?
Yeah, I'll definitely answer that. We do have a pre-built connector managed package, certified managed package for Salesforce, right? For Microsoft Dynamics, we have APIs available. Sometimes people want to iframe, sometimes they don't want to do that. Sometimes they want to get achievement information. We can send achievement information, course completion information to Microsoft Dynamics. We have a whole API suite to do that. So is there currently a pre-built connector that you install? No, but can you accomplish many of the same things with our APIs? Absolutely.
Okay, great. And then the question about you. Do you need to have Litmus LMS to use Litmus content? The answer to that is no. You can use Litmus content even if you are using a different LMS. So I'll just answer that one off on the fly here. And then have I missed any other questions? I think that is it. Oh wait, no. I think we have another one.
Good. Feel free. I know we've got a little bit over, but feel free to
no, there's
ask
plenty
any
of time.
additional
If you have questions, you can pop open the Q&A and ask those there. I do have a question here that came in from Yvette, who wants to know, even though Litmus has its own built-in content authoring functionality, can you still import courses from a different third-party tool?
The answer is yes, absolutely. You have those SCORM courses, zip files. You can upload those in the content builder. You can also upload AICC and also tin can content into Litmus too.
Beautiful. And yes, to Nathan, of course, we'll be sending out a PDF of today's slide deck and a link to the recording for you to share with your team. So no worries there. You'll be able to go back and see all of the really great content that Samantha and Christine put together for us today. I'm not seeing any more questions right now, ladies. Oh, here we go. How does Litmus address accessibility, coming in from Phil?
Yeah, great. So we have a VPAT report. So what a VPAT report does is we've gone through the entire application and we've said, yes, here, no, here, or this is how we solve that ADA accessibility requirement. So we can provide you with an NDA, of course, we'll provide you that VPAT report if you would like to see it.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, Amanda, first of all, thank you, everybody that was sending comments in during the presentation. We really appreciate those. And we really just like hearing what's going on out there on the ground. And thank you for all your questions. It's always really valuable for us. And I hope this has been valuable for you.
I really hope it got you thinking about the different options that you have out there, and don't be afraid to create content. That's one thing. Don't be afraid to create that content, work on that content, curate it, as we say, connect, figure out what that main system is, figure out what the systems are in the flow of work that everyone uses. So again, don't be afraid to branch out and say, okay, I'm not an instructional designer, but I'm going to create some pretty darn good interactive content. We encourage you to do that.
Well, and the tips about backing out from your organizational needs into your learning plan, it was just so brilliant and really speaks to a need that most learning leaders are having right now, which is connecting to that ROI. So ladies, really appreciate you putting all of this together for our audience. Love how interactive everybody has been during the event, and really appreciate Litmus sponsoring this type of content for us here at Training Industry.
You're very welcome. Thank you
very much.
All right, everyone. If you'd like to join us for some upcoming events, of course, trainingindustry.com/webinars for all of your information there. Every event we host does pre-qualify you for 1 credit hour by SHRM, HRCI, ISPI, and CPTM. What is CPTM? It's the Certified Professional in Training Management Program. If you are looking to link your learning initiatives to your organizational objectives, this is a great program for you. More information on our website about how to become a Certified Professional in Training Management. If you liked this session, and I think you did, we'd love to see you in person. We would love to have Litmus in person for our Training Industry Conference and Expo happening here in Raleigh, North Carolina in June of this year. We love those in-person conferences. Bring them all back. And hopefully
we will, Amanda, we will be there, by the way.
Yep. And I was there last year and it was fantastic. So we'll see you again.
Love it, love it, love it. Hopefully our audience members will join us as well. There is an early bird discount going on till the end of this month. So act now, Training Industry Conference and Expo. One last time, Samantha, Christine, loved having you. Thanks so much to Litmus for sponsoring today's event. Thanks to all of our attendees for always being so on the ball, participating with us, sharing great ideas and content. We love having you at our events. Until we see you back here next time, enjoy it out there. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.